This DVD camcorder may look like your everyday average camcorder, and for the most part it is, but if you look closely, it has a bulge. This is a Hitachi Hybrid Camcorder from the tail end of 2006. It shoots on mini DVDs, SD cards, and on its built-in 8GB hard drive. This is an edge that the competitors did not have, as Hitachi had their own expertise on miniaturizing hard drives.
You see, if you're familiar with iPods, as I know some of my audience are, you'll know that Hitachi supplied their MicroDrives in the iPod mini. The first generation mini had a 4GB hard drive, released in 2004, while the second generation had a 6GB hard drive, released in 2005. So it only makes sense that Hitachi was able to increase the storage to 8 in 2006. But yes, this camera technically shoots on the same hard drive that stored 1,000 songs in your pocket. And it also means that in theory you could swap the hard drive out for a compact flash card, in case it ever dies. But for now, mine is still going strong.
Now you might be wondering, why even bother with a hard drive? Well, let's take you back to 2006 and remind you of the process of developing your home movies. You have to format the disc, choosing which recording mode you want, and choose whether you prioritize quality or space. Afterwards, you have to finalize the disc, put it into your computer, and either burn the disc or re-encode it. Since the mini discs weren't cheap, and most of them were rewritable, it made more sense to burn them later onto a regular DVD instead, and reformat the mini DVD to use on your next holiday. With a hard drive, all you have to do is plug the camera in, drag the files with Explorer, and boom, sorted. It's a much quicker process. And of course, as opposed to only having 1.4GB to work with on a single layer disc, or 2.8 on dual layer, you had a massive 8GB, tripling your recording time to up to 6 hours on the highest compression setting. Now you may remember I brought up that this camera has an SD card slot. Don't get too excited, cameras of this time only included it for taking still photos, which have an interesting quality to them. They look like photos took on something like a Sony Mavica from the late 90s. With the various video artifacting around the images, it looks like the camera is taking a still frame of a video, though I could be wrong. The reason I bought this camera specifically is because I actually had another Hitachi camera from the same generation, though its DVD drive was busted. It was able to read, but not write. And funny enough, the same issue occurred here, until I got my camera out to shoot this video, and the DVD drive suddenly came back to life. Still, the hard drive is a way for me to get retro looking footage with much better reliability. Otherwise, this camera isn't too exciting to talk about. It has 15x zoom, 1x1.2 macro magnification, it shoots natively in 16:9, it can burn the hard drive footage back onto a mini DVD if you didn't have a home computer but wanted to preserve the footage, it came with a remote, a pass-through battery for using it plugged into the wall, AV cables, and that's mainly it. I had 3 batteries with it, though this aftermarket one still holds a charge with no problem, while the other 2 gave me about a minute of recording time before they would fail. Certain DVD camcorders like this one, and the Samsung one my parents owned when I was younger, possesses a very VHS-like feel, or at the very least Hi8/mini DV, with heavily desaturated colors and a lot of errors in the image, and very poor detail. But with modern features like USB 2.0, instead of having to bring out your old laptop or DVD recorder, using a FireWire and copying the footage in real time. And with this camera shooting interlaced video, you can get 50Hz footage with the right deinterlacer. You add it with the Bob preset in Handbrake. You're welcome. You do lose half the horizontal resolution in exchange for the frame rate though. But preserving each field with basic weaving, you end up with these horizontal lines called combing, where the fields don't line up with one another during motion. Speaking of when I was younger, why not finally put this camera to use and take it on a family holiday back to where I was born? So sit back and enjoy the home movie vibe, and afterwards, if you did enjoy it, you know which button to press. See ya!